Here we're going to look at the various ways to define lists of numbers and also how to include or exclude traces from the flow. First, number lists. So here's a simple flow that makes a 5-sample synthetic trace with values 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's look at this first format, from, to, increment. So instead of typing those 5 numbers, we could instead have typed this. Now increment defaults to 1, so we could have typed this. Two defaults to from, so what we have is a shorthand version of. And so on. Now we'll look at the second format, from, to, count. So we could have typed this. Now we'll look at the third format, from, count, increment. So in this case we could have typed this. In this format, increment defaults to 0, so to repeat numbers we can type this, for example. These various formats can be mixed together, so here's a very mixed up way of defining a triangle. And lastly, we'll make a 101 sample ramp to go from 0 to 10 pi. And take its cosine. And list both traces. Well, that's enough about number lists. Now we'll look at trace edits. That's to say how to include or exclude traces from the flow. So here's a flow that reads some segd records and sections them. So let's run it. and view it. So view's not very happy. It says that it's been told that the data is sorted into major equals file, minor equals channel order, and it's not. Anyway, here's the bitmap, and what can we see? Well, the file numbers increase, but within each file it looks like the channel numbers increase to 240, then go back to 1 again. So view is right, the data is missorted. Let's look at the check file. Here we see that read segd marks its output as being in file channel order. And there's no keyword available in read segd that will allow us to change that. We'll look at the trace header values via routine head list. So we see that by default, head list is going to list all these headers that read segd created. So let's have a look at them. And here's the problem. This is where the channel numbers reset to 1. It's this, isn't it? We have 2 channel sets. We'll just process channel set 1. Well, we don't need head lists anymore. Here's how we can have section only process those traces that have header channel set equal to 1. So we'll run it, and we see that section only accepted 1680 traces. So this time there's no objection from view. We see that our bitmap only includes traces 1 to 240 from each record. And as a bonus, we can now see the mouse's location. And other things become available, such as this scroll box. Well, we can expand these edits. This says that to be included, a trace must be in channel set 1, have an even channel number, and an odd file number. The ands can go on, and there can be any number of accept blocks within each call. The edits can go anywhere. For example, we could have read segd only output channels that are multiples of 3. And since section's only accepting even number channels, now we'll only get channels 6, 12, 18 and so on. And that's it for the edits video.